Hi, this is FABUMOM, and today I'm going to be teaching on cake design, specifically piping. Today the things I'm going to be talking about in this buttercream piping tutorial, I'm going to be showing a 12-inch bag, a 16-inch bag, coupler, large and small, V-tips or the leaf tips, specialty tip number 352, and the large tip is 366. And also we're going to be using a cup and a pair of scissors and a chip clip. And with today's piping bag, I'm going to show you how to fit it with a coupler and to use a tip for piping. The first thing you want to do with your piping bag is you're going to take your coupler apart and put it down in your bag, so you kind of have a notion of where to cut. The important thing is to cut so the threads will still be available when you put on your tip and the ring of your coupler to screw down over the top of that so your bag won't move. So you're going to take your coupler down a little bit and start to make a cut straight across, just like that, and then push your coupler down. So the next thing you want to do is you need to fill your bag. So I am going to use a cup and set my bag down in it. You're going to make a cuff on your bag to go over the lip of the cup, and that way you can get your frosting in there and you can have both hands to put in the frosting. Typically when I decorate, I custom tint all of my own homemade buttercream using unsalted butter and powdered sugar. But for today's purposes, and especially if you are just going to practice, it is easier for you to just buy a can of frosting and use that instead. So now that we have our piping bag in our cup so we can use both hands, we're going to add some of this frosting. Now, when you are using the frosting, you have to know that your hands are hot. And so using the frosting in small batches typically works best. So you're just going to put the frosting into your piping bag, and you can scrape the side of your utensil on the bag. It's totally fine. So then you're going to remove the piping bag from the cup, bring up the cup, and the next thing you're going to do is move the frosting down into the bottom of the bag. So now that you have got the frosting in the bag, you're going to put the bag down, you're going to duty jump it and push the frosting down to the end of your bag. Now this is where you're going to pause, because you're going to put your tip on. So with the coupler, it makes it easy to remove and apply your tip. And so you put your tip on and then the ring of your coupler, and if you cut it right, that ring will fit right over the threads of your bag. Now that your piping bag is filled with frosting and your tip is on, you're going to want to close the bag at the top and have it ready to pipe. So you accordion fold that like you would a fan, and you're going to twist it. And what I do, it's coming out. What I do is I use a clip and put it over the top of that fold, and that helps the frosting not come out this end without having to worry to squeeze it. Now, if you don't have one of these, what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze with your hand. At this point, you're going to take your thumb here and your finger, the bottom knuckle of your finger right here, and that's where you're going to squeeze. So you're going to squeeze together to hold the bag and seal it so the frosting doesn't come out this end. Then you're going to take and wrap your hand around it, and this is what's going to squeeze the frosting out of the piping bag. Now my frosting is coming out of the end of my piping bag because it was a little at room temperature. So what you might want to do if you're using a canned frosting is put it in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes before you put it in your piping bag, and then it will be perfect piping temperature. So for this application, I'm using the leaf tip or the V tip. It's leaf tip, specialty tip number 352, or they have a jumbo tip, which is 366. And they also have two different size couplers. I meant to mention that before. Here are the small size couplers. They come in a pack of 4. And then they do have the jumbo couplers for the bigger tips. And these are typically sold just as 1 unit. And that helps you change your big tips. So when you're piping with the leaf tip, you want to make sure that you're piping the correct way to get a leaf. And in order to do that, you're going to have the V facing you, and then if you're looking over it, you just need to see it vertically straight up and down and no shape, just like it looks like a regular round tip. And always hold it at a 45-degree angle to whatever you're decorating, but you want to be kind of close to the paper. Okay, so to pipe a V, you're going to squeeze, which is the base of the leaf. You're going to quit squeezing and pull, and the pull creates the tip of the leaf. So squeeze, stop, pull. Squeeze, stop, pull. Squeeze, stop, pull. And that is your basic leaf. Now, you can create a longer leaf by squeezing longer and maybe moving the tip around. And so you can do that. And that looks more like a fern leaf. Or you can even wiggle it to create different shapes of leaves. But for this, we're going to squeeze, stop, and pull. Squeeze, stop, and pull. Squeeze, stop, and pull. And there is your leaf using tip 352 or the V tip. Alright, so this is FABUMOM signing off for now, and I'll see you again soon with some more cake decorating tips.